In mobile apps, in recent development trend is a blend of web computing and mobile computing. In past years, there are a lot of good products in web and mobile area. Benefited from the development trend, the developer enjoys the advance of web and mobile techniques. This is implemented through the application of a UI component called WebView. WebView is an embedded browser. It can be easily integrated in mobile apps to show web pages and run JavaScript code. And for this type of application, we call them hybrid apps. Here is an example. This developers aim to show shopping locations. Developers just need to embed WebView in their application and let WebView show Google Maps, and it's done. WebView is also very powerful. It can support most HTML5 techniques such as post-message. Post-message is very popular in the web platform. It is frequently used to allow the communication between different origins and relax the same origin policy restrictions. Assume there are two web frames, Alice and Bob. If they have totally different origins, it's very difficult for them to make communication because of the same origin policy. Post-message mitigates the problem. However, in hybrid application, post-message does not meet developers' requirements. This picture has shown the architecture of hybrid apps. The top box is the web platform, and the bottom box is the mobile platform. Developers really want their mobile code to also be involved in the messaging process. However, this functionality is not provided by existing systems such as Android. To mitigate the problem, developers have to extend the existing post-message technique. We call the extension hybrid post-message. This picture shows the architecture of a hybrid post-message. Developers treat the mobile code as a new frame and let the new frame talk with the existing web frames. And in this way, attackers implement the communication between different platforms. This is usually achieved through some ad hoc methods such as web and mobile bridges that link the web platform and the mobile platform. Hybrid post-message meets developers' requirements. However, it also introduces several serious security issues. The security model designed for post-message cannot be conformed to by hybrid post-message. This picture, I will introduce the security model of post-message. Here, Alice is sending a message to Bob. For Alice, the message sender, she can specify and control the target origin of the message to make sure only Bob can receive her message. For Bob, he can obtain and validate the source origin of the received message to make sure only Alice's message is handled. However, in hybrid post-message, the story is totally different. Here, Alice and Bob are either web code or mobile code. They can send messages to each other through hybrid post-message. However, in different with post-message, hybrid post-message does not allow Alice and Bob specify and obtain the target origin and source origin. This issue is rooted in the gap between mobile platform and web platform. Also, there is some bridge it's provided to mitigate the problem, but it is very difficult and challenging for developers to transfer the origin information safely. Serious consequences may be caused. For Alice, any frame may receive her messages, and for Bob, any frames can send a message to Bob. And if Bob contains some sensitive functionality, serious consequences may be caused. And this picture has shows a feasible attack scenario that found in practice. And this is a benign app and Android device. This benign app contains WebView components. Here, we assume only the main frame or top frame has the capability to access Hybrid-postMessage. In runtime, WebView will contact with some web server. If there is a vulnerability in the web server or the network, the link between WebView and the web server, attackers may inject some malicious code into web server and into the network traffic. Finally, the malicious code into WebView, and then may further access and attack Hybrid-postMessage. More specifically, if attacker has some chance to inject malicious code into the main frame, and the malicious code can directly access and attack Hybrid-postMessage. If attacker has some chance to inject malicious code into a subframe, and attacker still may have some chance to attack Hybrid-postMessage. Attacker can do like this. Attacker lets their malicious code send a message to the main frame using the regular post message. And the main frame likely forwards the message to the mobile platform. In this way, attacker can still get the capability to directly attack Hybrid-postMessage. As introduced before, there may be two attack patterns. The first pattern is malicious code can monitor any messages from the mobile platform. And if the message contains some sensitive information, attacker can steal it and may send it out. And the other attack pattern is attacker may directly or actively send a message to the mobile platform. And if the platform has some sensitive functionality and serious consequence may be caused, and because this functionality or even some internal data may be leveraged by attackers. We call all these security issues in Hybrid-postMessage origin stripping vulnerabilities, OSV for short. Our contribution, we conduct the first study on Hybrid-postMessage and OSV. We propose a novel dynamic detection solution called OSV Hunter, and in our measurements, we found the attackers based on OSV are very feasible, and OSV Hunter successfully found several real-world vulnerabilities. And lastly, we designed a novel mitigation solution called OSV Free. And OSV Free is open source. It can be accessed by the link. OSV Hunter, this picture shows the design of OSV Hunter. It consists of two steps. In the first step, OSV Hunter will identify the message sender and message receivers and understand the semantic between them and then identify Hybrid-postMessage implementation. And in the second step, OSV Hunter will determine if vulnerability exists in a given app. More specifically, in the first app, OSV Hunter faces some challenge to identify message senders and message receivers because they are usually located in two different platforms, and there is some semantic gap between them. To mitigate this problem, we do some program analysis and instrumentation, and inject tracking ID to any potential message that may be transferred across the boundary between web and mobile platform. And if the tracking ID is finally found in the other platform, the corresponding functions may be message senders and message receivers. And in the second step, OSV Hunter will collect all messages between message sender and message receivers and check their origins. And if the origin information is not included or carried, and there may be a vulnerability. OSV measurements. To measure OSV in real-world apps, we implement OSV Hunter in Android and deploy it in a real device. And we apply the OSV Hunter in more than 1,000 popular hybrid apps. And for each app, the analysis time is almost 10 minutes. And finally, OS 100 successfully found 17 vulnerable apps, and there is no false positive. And several high-profile frameworks, library, apps are impacted, such as Facebook React Native Framework, Google Cloud Print Library. Serious consequences may be caused, such as, for example, attackers may silently monitor a microphone or crash apps by triggering some data race or manipulating some internal data. And we have reported all our findings to framework library and app developers. And so far, the Facebook and Android security teams have confirmed our findings. And here I will use a case to demonstrate OSWay and how OSWay will be leveraged by attacker in practice. This is the example is a Facebook React Native framework. It is very popular. It is used to help developers to build some native mobile apps using JavaScript and React. And this picture shows many popular apps are using this framework. This picture shows the architecture of the framework, and the left box is the running environment of developers' JavaScript code. And in runtime, this JavaScript code will be passed by some JavaScript engine, and the engine will communicate with Android system and creates the app content dynamically. And in the frame, Android WebView is also well supported, and beyond that, more functionality and rich APIs are enabled to support that React Native framework provides some customization. OSWay Hunter successfully identified the hybrid-postMessage implementation between WebView and the customization, and also found OSWay exit in the implementation. Therefore, if an attacker injects some malicious code into WebView, and the malicious code can directly attack a hybrid-postMessage. Here are two example apps that are equipped with the Facebook React Native framework. The first app is device management app. Attackers can send a message from web platform to the mobile platform and leverage some internal functionalities. For example, attacker can send a message to enforce user to join some virtual events, and may start monitor the microphone silently. And attacker can also trigger some data race to crash the app. It is done by sending some special commands from the web to the mobile platform, and change the execution sequence of the some critical functions. Finally, the data race is triggered, and the app is finally crashed. And the second app is a food shopping app. And attackers can send a message from web to the mobile platform to edit and steal the shopping list of users. OSWay mitigation. After we send our reports, including the program the how to trigger it and the vulnerabilities, and we found, based on developers' feedback, we found it's very difficult for developers to fix the problem. This is a snapshot of the development documentation of the Facebook React Native framework. Here, the developer just gave a security warning. It's very difficult for them to fix the problem. Mitigated by this, we developed a novel OSWay mitigation solution called OSWay Free. This picture has shown the architecture of OSWay Free, and it's including two parts. The first part, OSWay Free provides a rich hybrid-postMessage APIs, and the second module is implement some customization in WebView library this customization will support these APIs. And in our further study, we found the OS Free is really fast and securely and generic. OS Free evaluation. We first evaluate OS Free in terms of effectiveness in the two determinal messaging. We find the OS Free will mitigate the problem. And we further studied the performance of OS Free, and we found OS Free is fast and only need almost 2 ms. And we also found OS Free mainly can support many Android devices and versions. And finally, OS Free is very easy to use. We use it to patch Facebook React Native framework, and we found only a few minutes were used. Summary, when post-message is extended into the mobile platform and developer has do some extension, and we call it Hybrid-postMessage, and Hybrid-postMessage totally meet developer requirements, but serial consequence also cost. And in our research, we conduct a deep study about the problem and found OSV will cause serious security impacts. And we also proposed the two tools. One is a detection to OSV Hunter, and the other one is mitigation to OSV Free. Okay, thanks. I'm ready for questions.
We have time for a couple questions.
Hi, my name's Jared Smith from University of Tennessee. This is a really good talk. I enjoy this stuff. One question, so you had the React Native case study. If I understand React Native correctly and reading the docs of it, I've used it before. It doesn't use WebViews natively unless you're communicating with like a Cordova app or something else. So do you know like the rough percentage of apps you had to filter out that would, in Android that did use WebViews? Or maybe I'm misunderstanding whether this applies to things without WebViews too.
Do you mean, there are some implementation details? They use the WebView and they do some, because Facebook React Native goal is to help developer use JavaScript to design or develop mobile apps for iOS, for Android, and for iOS they use their own WebView, and for Android they use their default WebView, and they both. But the architecture showed in the slides is applied for these two platforms, and if you check the documentation, you can find this OSV problem is exists not only in Android but also in iOS.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I'll check it out.
So hi, Ben from CISPA. I was wondering about like just the regular usage of post-message. Can you comment on if you have these web views, are they actually checking origins and setting target destinations, or are they kind of developing code that is insecure even without your attack already?
In the web platform, in regular web apps, there is some security checks, and because there are already some attackers in that regular post-message area, and there are also already many solutions. And but for the hybrid post-message and for OSV, we found all existing defense solution not only in mobile but also in the defense solution designed for regular post-message cannot defend against attacks based on OSV.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's thank Guangliang one more time.
Okay, thank you.